Just tell Jesus, Jesus can help me, Jesus alone. Jesus can help me, Jesus alone.
Okay, we're ready to go.
Good morning. I'm sorry for our lateness. We got stuck at a construction site because we're staying at Tatamagush, and they're busy resurfacing the road. And so the timing was off this morning, and we had to wait. So, but we're here now, and it's wonderful to be here.
So, as I was saying yesterday, this book, Help in Daily Living, hopefully all of you got a copy. If you didn't, there are more over at the building, at the cafeteria building by our booth there. And this is a book I like to give to people and say, if ever life doesn't make sense to you, or things are feeling a little bit down and discouraged, this is the book that I always read. And we have another little book there called I Want More Blank in My Life, so you can fill in the blank. Joy, peace, hope, love, they're all in the book. And we did a whole series on this last season with different healthcare professionals, and we gave this away. And so you're welcome to go and take those off the table at any time. Okay. We're missing our signal? No? Okay. And one of the things that we talked to you about was the Prescription for Love program yesterday, and that is in February, and that will be in Costa Rica. And I'll give you a bit more information about that later. And our Canada-wide call to prayer to pray for our children. And you know, the Bible tells us, if my people who are called by my name will do what? Humble themselves and pray. Then will I what? Turn my face toward, and I will do what? I will forgive their sins, right? We need to turn away from our wicked ways, right? And he will He will forgive our sins and heal our land. We also do a program called 1 Week in Paradise. And just to go through that a little bit, if you have a phone, someone was asking me yesterday, how do they sign up for this? Just take a picture of that. There's the website. And the one that's coming up in the fall, it's WOWIP Fall 2023. So that's the 1 Week in Paradise that's coming up. And just to tell you a little bit about that, we have people who come there. Just give you one little story. There was a lady who came there, and when she came up to the stairs, she walked on the first step, and she was completely out of breath with both feet. She was like, and then she took another step. She was completely out of breath. And she was living that way for years. And she could not lift her hand. She could not pull her covers over her body when she went to bed at night. She had to take them with her teeth and pull them over her body. And so she was in a lot of pain. And René and I did counseling with her, and it was one of the saddest stories I'd ever heard. I'd never heard such a story of a lot of pain and suffering. Well, by the second day, she came to the steps to come into the building, and she walked up like this. And she got up to the top, and she realized what she had just done. And she started crying because she realized something is different. I am able to walk. And by the last day, she was showering, and she was washing her hair, and the tears were just flowing down her face because she had never been able to lift her hands like that for years. So here's a lady who could see transformation, not just in her physical life, but in her emotional life, her spiritual life. And she felt there was a whole lot of healing that was happening in her body, and we could all see it. So that's just one story. I could give you a whole lot of stories of people like that who experienced transformation through that experience. So yesterday we were talking about the masters and the disasters. And what do you remember about the difference between the masters and the disasters? Does anyone remember? Positive and negative comments, right. So what was the difference with the positive in the masters? What were they doing? What were they scanning for? They were always scanning for something. Oh, that's true, but that's the specifics. What they were scanning for was things to appreciate. Things to appreciate. Always looking for the best in the other person. Always looking for the best in the other person. And what were the disasters doing?
Yes, they were always looking for
They're
all the mistakes.
focusing on their partner's mistakes.
That's right, Edna. So.
Okay, so let's pause and have a word of prayer before we continue, okay? Father in heaven, we thank you for bringing us all here this morning. Thank you for this place. There are many who have come before us who have sacrificed to make this place a possibility for us to be here. And I thank you for the presence of your holy angels with us and your Holy Spirit to guide our thoughts and our hearts so that we can, as the scriptures say, have the spirit and power of Elijah to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, the hearts of the children to the fathers, so that there will be unity within families, so that our children will be saved in your kingdom eternally. In Jesus' name, amen. So this one lady I was listening to, she talked about how she woke up one morning and she looked at her husband and she thought, COVID really did a number on my husband. He is so overweight. He is just, I have been out running every day, and look at him. He's just a slob, right? Where was she falling? In the masters or the disasters? In the disasters. So her thoughts about him were very negative. And she thought to herself, oh, I can't. And so she got out of bed. She went to the sink. She went to the bathroom. And she saw he had been shaving and he left stuff all over the place. And he dropped his underwear right there in the bathroom and didn't even put them into the basket. She was feeling so angry. And she thought to herself, okay, wait, I'm going in the wrong direction today. So she got back into bed. She looked at her husband and she thought, how can I see him so that I scan for what I appreciate about him? How do I see him differently? So she looked at him, and then she looked over him, and she saw that he had gotten up in the middle of the night. She didn't even hear it. And he had picked up one of their children, and he had him in the bed quietly, and he was hugging their little boy. And she thought, oh, I have such a great husband. Look how caring he is. Look how he got up in the middle of the night, and he took care. And then she looked at him, and she thought, wow, you know what? He really does love me a lot, because before we went to bed last night, he told me how much he appreciates about me and how much he loves me. You see how her same situation, but her frame of reference had changed. You have to intentionally do that, don't you? You have to intentionally scan for what is right. You have to scan your environment and reframe it and focus on what you appreciate and look for those things. Dig for gold. That's really good. I love that idea of digging for gold, Karen, because you have this, when you're digging for gold, you don't see it, right? And so you're looking for something that you don't see. And when you see it, all of a sudden you're just like, oh, it's there. It's there in all of us. So, yeah, think about that in terms of the conversations you're having with one another. Because here's the thing. You are a child of God. Your partner is a child of God. Your children are children of God. And so look at them as God would see them. How did Satan see the child of God? How did he see Jesus? Did he want to beat him up? Did he want to bully him? Did he want to put him down and call him names? Yes. And so think about the kind of conversations that are going on in your mind. Are they from the evil one, or are they from God? Are you having positive ways of seeing each other, or are you having negative ways of seeing each other? Because it's the same situation. It's really the same situation, but how do you view? How do you look? Do you see the dirt on the surface, or do you see the gold under the surface, right? So it changes everything.
I really like that, Karen. Be a gold digger.
Yes.
We need to remember
in the
that.
right sense.
Yeah. We need to remember that for our future presentation.
That's really good, isn't it?
The one word that describes the masters is the word gentle. And so they are very gentle with one another. And Mike used the example yesterday of a soccer ball, like playing a game of soccer, and the masters just gently kick the ball to each other, whereas the disasters used their partner as the soccer ball. So they were constantly attacking and kicking their partners.
So what would be the soccer ball in the illustration of the masters?
Well,
Would be the conflict, or the difficulty, or the problem that they're looking at. So when they encounter a problem or a difficulty, they have this attitude. They look at the other person, they say, wow, that's odd. I really don't understand why he or she is behaving this way. And sometimes it looks like that. It's like, why are they behaving this way? Why did they shout at me? Why did they do this? Why are they so angry? Why are they so upset? But it is completely out of character. And when you see that, you say, I might not be able to decode their behavior, but I am going to choose to believe the best about them and try to understand. That's the attitude of the masters. So we finished with this question. Are there some negative interactions more corrosive than others? True or false? True. And we talked about we started to introduce you to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Okay.
So when these 4 horsemen come riding into a marital relationship, just like the 4 horsemen in the book of Revelation, they point towards the demise of marital happiness.
So what are those 4 horsemen?
So the 4 horsemen are criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling.
And they usually come in that order. Okay. But they don't have to doom the relationship to failure if the couple practices healthy interventions. And here is the magic weapon. This is the weapon that you have that will save any conflict. It is called rescue attempts. Rescue attempts. So attempts to rescue. So in other words, the plane has taken off, and the rescue attempt is, hey, let's land this thing. Let's land this plane. Because it's easy to take off. It's easy to, but then to land it safely. That's the rescue attempt. So it's not really about how much conflict there is there or the expression of conflict, but it's how do you deal with it, right? And so you can express it in certain ways, and there can be some people who express things in a way that you would never think of expressing them. So there was one couple, they were newlyweds. She had grown up in a home where her parents were very vocal, very Italian, and they would speak out and they would speak their feelings and speak how they felt about things. And he, on the other hand, came from a home that was very reserved and very quiet. He never heard his parents raise their voice, ever. And so they were engaged, they got married, and then they had their first little interaction. And she took off like a rocket. And he looked at this and he thought, did I marry the devil? What is wrong with this woman? She's just flying all over the place and things are rebounding off the walls. And he's like, he doesn't understand. He thinks to himself, something's wrong here. He's never experienced anything like this in his life. It wasn't the healthiest way of reacting, but that was what she was used to. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a whole lot of things that I got used to when I was growing up that weren't right. And I had to unlearn those things. And I unlearned a lot of those things before I met René. And that was really good. But she didn't. And so they needed a little bit of counseling, right? To try and understand each other. This is the way you solve problems. No. This is the way you solve problems, right? And so learning how that works. The rescue attempts are the key, right? And we'll talk about those rescue attempts in a minute. Okay, let's talk about criticism.
So we're going to look at criticism first. And criticizing is more global. So you use expressions like you always or you never and express negative feelings or opinions about your partner's character. So I'll give you an example of criticism. Michael.
This is an example, okay? This is play acting, okay? This may or may not have happened at some stage in the past, okay? So this is play acting, you understand? Okay, go ahead.
Michael, why do you have to always shower for so long? You can never get it together and make a short shower. And we're always late because you shower forever. What is wrong with you? Okay. So he's not going to answer that question. Do we usually answer when someone says, what's wrong with you? Oh, I'll tell you what's wrong with me. Okay, so I'm going to role play the correct way with a gentle startup. Michael, I really understand that you value cleanliness and you also value me, but I get really frustrated when you take so long in the shower, especially if we have an appointment that we have to go to, and then we're late. So could you please maybe shower a little bit quicker, or could you let me shower first maybe?
Or maybe get up earlier. Yeah, okay. So what did she do differently? What did she do the first time that was different than the second time? She attacked me. What kind of words did she use? Never, always, what else?
And you.
Yeah. Can you see the second time, what kind of words did she use? She was gentle, but she also expressed her feelings, right? I feel this
frustrated.
way. Not you make me feel this way, right? So it's I messages instead of you messages. Does that make sense? When you think about it, this takes a lot of discipline because you got to think of you. No, wait. This is how I feel, right? And start with a gentle startup. So this gentle startup is always some words of appreciation. Thank you for always considering this, and thank you for being so considerate. You know, those kind of ways of thank you for the fact that, you know, you take care of yourself and you appreciate taking good showers, and it's wonderful. I do appreciate that about you. But right now, I am feeling, not you make me feel. Okay. So here's another example. We'll put it on the screen.
I've been observing you, and I've noticed how forgetful you are. Why are you always so forgetful? I hate having to do everything around you. You never keep your promises, and you said you would fold the laundry, but you didn't. You just don't care. What's wrong with you? So here's another, you always, you never, you.
Yeah. How does it feel when that first sentence is, I've been observing you. I've been observing you. And I've noticed how bad you are. I've noticed you forget everything. So, you know, he didn't do the laundry, unfortunately. He was supposed to go and fold the laundry, but he didn't. I love folding the laundry. Do you like folding the laundry? Yeah. Okay. Why do you like folding the laundry? It makes it tidy. You know why I like folding the laundry? Anyone else have a different reason? Because I can listen to a book. So I'll put the book on, and I can fold the laundry, and I'm actually having fun because I'm learning and I'm growing. And I just love that. So I can put the book on.
See, and Mark is more auditory, so he can listen to a book, and he can do
multiple
tasks, like
wash the dishes.
Yeah, even go for a run or walk on the treadmill and listen to a book. I cannot do that. I need to have the book in front of me and just focused on that book. Because if I'm listening to something while I'm doing something else, I'm hearing it, but I'm not listening. It's not going in. Yeah. I'm not absorbing it. I cannot function like that at all. So I can't listen to something.
So is anyone here like that? They don't like, okay. And any of you like me, you like to listen? Okay.
I can listen to music though. Music is different. But if I have to listen to something that I need to focus on, I can't do that. So
one thing is, we can see here, because you have differences of doing things, conflict is inevitable, but you can deal with it in a healthy way. Is that correct? Okay, deal with it in a healthy way.
By dialoguing and resolving it.
That's right. Criticizing is different than voicing a complaint. And so these are the points that we already pointed out, but let's just put them on the screen.
So a complaint focuses about the specific behavior or event. So either like how I addressed Mark about taking long in the shower, or about not folding the laundry, right? Then secondly, you express your own feelings. I'm feeling frustrated, or I'm feeling angry. Then thirdly, why you feel this way. I'm feeling frustrated because you take long in the shower. So once again, it's pointing to that event, and then what you would like your partner to do about it. Please, can you try and shower a little bit quicker, or could you please get up earlier and shower? So you need to tell them what you would like to do about it. Could you please go and fold the laundry now?
Okay, so we want to avoid criticism. Complaint is different. Can you see that? Complaint is different from criticism. So we're going to give you this example, and then we're going to give you something to work on, okay? Give you something to practice this on. So here's the example. I understand you didn't do it on purpose. Why? Because I know you value me and our relationship. See that gentle startup? So you're thinking the best about the other person. You didn't do this on purpose. I know that you value me and our relationship. However, I must admit that I was really angry. See, I must admit that I was really angry that you didn't fold the laundry yesterday, when you promised and you would, and then here's what would you like to do in the future? Could you please do it now? Okay, how can we change this so that it doesn't continue to happen in the future? Okay, so here's the little example that we want to give to you. Maybe this has never happened to you, but sometimes it does, okay? So there's no gas in your car, and your partner was the last one driving it. They promised to leave it full for you. So how would a complaint differ from a criticism? The criticism is easy. The complaint is the hard one. Try and do that. Try and do the complaint instead of the criticism. Okay, take a moment to do that. Okay, so who would like to demonstrate this for us? One way or the other. We don't want to put you on the spot.
I failed the whole thing.
You failed the whole thing?
Yeah, because
Renee's going to bring you a microphone.
I'll bring the microphone to you, Larry.
what happens with us is maybe Karen's getting her lunch that's ready for work.
Yeah.
And she'll say, the car's almost empty, would you take it down and fill it up? And I do. Or I'll use the car and I'll see it's almost empty, and I know she has to go to work.
Yeah.
And so I'll say, well, it's going to interfere on her way to work. She's going to run out of time, so I'll go fill it up.
Yeah.
And I've always had my own vehicle, so if I loan my vehicle to somebody, I say, you bring it back full.
Yeah.
And so we failed.
You didn't fail at all. You got it right
Well, I
beforehand.
think the point was to use your imagination.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Okay, imagine in this. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I know you didn't do it on purpose because I know that you value our relationship and you value me.
I love this. Good
But,
startup. Good start.
You know, I was a little bit upset when I was rushing off to work and I noticed that the tank was on empty and you were the last one driving it. So I'm wondering if you could next time maybe put a reminder or try to remember to leave me some gas in the car, or just maybe let me know so I can have time to go and get it. So,
Okay, good. How did you feel about that, Gary? Yeah?
Good.
Yeah. Good?
Non-threatened, not
Non-threatened,
attacked.
not attacked.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like you're on the spot, right? Yeah. That was awesome. That was awesome. So some of these things, it feels kind of awkward to us if we haven't practiced it that way. If we've practiced, the wrong way of doing things, it just becomes a part of us. And we say, well, that's just us. That's just the way we do things. That's just the way our family works. But when you try it differently, it feels awkward to you. It feels almost like you're being phony. But when you start doing this and start practicing it that way, it's like healthy relationships, you don't understand them if you haven't had them before, right? You just don't understand. It's like being healthy. I always say health, you don't know what health is until you've got it, if you've never had it before. Karen, go ahead.
I often rehearse what I'm going to say in my head to see what it sounds like before I
Oh, that's so good. Rehearse it in your head before you, and think about it. How is this person going to take this? Very good. So sometimes our bids may be wrapped in anger, but underneath that complaint is a longing for something. So, if there's people coming over and your partner says, "Can you get the napkins on the table right away?" Right? Comes across as angry. But what she's really saying to you is, please help, right? Please help. because these people are coming over right away. And so it comes across in a way that sounds angry, but you're always reframing it. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I didn't understand. Maybe I didn't see how serious this was or how little time we have. And so you have to think the best, even though you kind of got caught on your back foot. Okay.
So here's another exercise for you to do. Your partner is taking their time getting ready, and you can see you may get to church late. How would a complaint differ from a criticism?
Okay. How would a complaint differ from a criticism? Take a moment on that one. Try it out on each other. If you're sitting by yourself, practice with someone else. Yes, go ahead, Dave. Okay, let's flash back to the 4 points so you can see what it is. Let me go here. I'm trying to get them. Yes, there we go. There they are. So specific behavior or event, right? How you feel. I feel this way. Why you feel that way. And what would you like your partner to do to change it? Okay. Anyone like to give that a try? Okay, go ahead, Larry. This is actually you? Okay.
Well, sweetie, can't you hurry up and get ready? Like, we're going to be late. I want to watch the whole thing. Just please hurry up and get ready. And I know I hate being late. And then I won't say anything else, but I'll walk back and forth. If she's getting ready in the washroom, I'll walk back and forth. I'll walk back and forth, and I'll jiggle my keys in my pocket on the side of the door. And I am so guilty of that. So if I was going to say it different, I'd say, sweetie, do you think we could get ready maybe just a little bit earlier so we can get on time and take in the whole show?
Okay.
How much longer are you going to be?
I didn't say that.
So that was very good. That was a gentle startup. What would you like, when you express it, you said it the first time, how you usually feel, right? And I think that's important, to express, how do I feel? I feel this way when we're late. That's it, okay? And then how you'd like it to change in the future. So when you go through those in your mind, really helps.
I just need to mention too, like sometimes you can have a gentle startup and you can dialogue it, but it really is frustrating if you have that gentle startup and you express how you're feeling, and then next Sabbath the same thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a gentle startup and you express how you're feeling, and then the following Sabbath the same thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that gets really frustrated, and it gets frustrating, and then you have to dialogue, because now it's become more than just a perpetual problem, and it can get into a gridlock.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we don't want that. So how are you going to solve that? And I'm kind of speaking here from our own experience when Mark was in the ministry, because
I'm still in the ministry.
well,
But-
when he was a pastor of the Lethbridge Church,
And you were raising
right?
little ones.
And
right?
and I had the 2 little girls, and I had to get them ready.
Yep.
He was preparing for his sermon. He had to get to church. He was focused on his sermon. And so I was rushing around trying to get the girls ready, wanting to be on time, and then got to church all flustered, teaching the cradle rolls, and I'm singing, Sabbath is a happy day, happy day. But inside, I'm fuming now because it's taken all this frustration to get there on time.
Yep.
And so then we had to dialogue and say, okay, this is not working.
Yep.
You go to church in your car, and then you can stay home and prepare and get ready and whatever, and I'm going to go in my vehicle. So then you have to come up with a solution and somehow compromise that situation, because it doesn't matter how gentle your startup is, but if it's going to be a perpetual problem and it's going to keep on repeating itself, there is going to be a gridlock, and it's going to be causing more frustration and more conflict in the marriage.
So I was like Larry. I would jiggle the keys. I'd go to the car, start it up, wait, let's start taking stuff out, right? But then you come
And then when we get in the car, while he's been waiting in the car, I don't know if this is a guy thing. We're waiting in the car to leave, and he ties his shoes, his shoelaces, just before we're going to leave. I'm like, couldn't you have tied your shoelaces earlier on? Why are you tying your shoes now?
I was in a hurry. I can tie my laces later. So we all have weirdnesses, don't we? Okay. Why is this person so unhuman? Okay. So let's look at defensiveness. Defensiveness is the next horseman. It is typically a response to what? Criticism. Okay.
So we'll give an example of defensiveness. Michael, why do you always take so long in the shower? I don't know what's wrong with you. You can't get things together and take forever in the shower, and you always make us late.
Oh, I can never do anything right. What about all the other good things that I do? Okay. See the difference? Have you ever gone into those conversations? Yeah. Okay. So what is defensiveness? What does it do? We've all been defensive. Yes? Okay. So when we feel unjustly accused, we fish for excuses and we play the innocent victim so that our partner will back off. Okay.
So defensiveness is really blaming your partner.
Yeah.
So now I attacked him and he's defending himself, but he's in actual fact blaming me because he's saying the problem isn't me, it's you. Because I do so many other things right and you don't see that. So why are you picking on me? So now he's blaming me. So he's putting the blame right back on me again. One common form of defensiveness is the innocent victim stance, which sends the message, why are you always picking on me? What about all the good things I do? There's no pleasing you. So I can never do anything right in your eyes.
Okay, so the masters, how do they do defensiveness? They minimize the intensity. That's very important. They state their needs gently, and they take, this is the big one, responsibility, okay? So it's complete ownership. It's total ownership of what I have done wrong. That's hard to do. So happily married couples use non-defensive responsive expressing acceptance of responsibility, admission of fault, and an understanding of their partner's perspectives. Now listen to this. Listen to this response. Oh, that was really wrong of me. What's that? That's taking responsibility. It's humble. It's very hard to eat humble pie when you're being attacked. And so you think to yourself, oh boy, wait, she's right. She's right. Please forgive me. I should have been a lot more careful and looked at the time. That's entirely my fault that we are late to church. I know that I don't deserve it, but let me have another chance.
You're lying.
Karen, how can you say that? I poured my heart and soul. I was so like a worm here. Okay, but it's how does that sound? It sounds like, okay, it does sound fishy, but when a person is genuinely actually saying, taking ownership, that's so hard, isn't it? And it does feel phony to you. It feels phony because we're saying to the other person, I am entirely to blame. When, as Karen says, you're lying because probably you've done this before. You've done this before. How come you keep doing this, right? And that's something you need to discuss and work through. But if you can honestly say, I am sorry. Now, here's the hard part. It feels phony. It feels like, hey, I know that I'm doing this, and I know I've done it before, but I really do want to change. Okay? That's a good thing. Okay. So try and work on the side of believing in your partner.
And taking responsibility and reducing the intensity will be much easier to do. Like if I had a gentle startup with Mark, so I said, Michael, I really understand that you value cleanliness, but I felt very frustrated because you were taking so long in the shower. So please, could you maybe get up earlier and try and shorten your shower time, or could you let me shower first?
And then I apologized. And I said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Now, if this is an ongoing conflict, as Karen pointed out, if it's an ongoing conflict, keeps happening, even though we have these nice little conversations, then it comes to the place where René is going to ask me some questions. But they're kind of very careful. It's not, why do you always do this? It's rather, could there be, and this is what Gottman says, could there be something in your past that's causing you to behave this way? Right? Could there be something in your past? Could there be something in her past why she behaves a certain way towards other things? Like, why does René have to have a clean, tidy everything, right? And why do I leave things sitting around? Okay? So if she asked me that question, why do I leave things sitting around? I could answer that question. Well, when I was growing up, I lost everything. You ever do that? So I used to lose everything. So I'd lose my scarf. I don't know where it was. You know, I'd come back and like, where's your scarf? I don't know. I lost it. Never found it again. Where's your toque? I lost it. If you ever lost a shoe, that's a hard thing, especially when I lived in Saskatchewan, coming home with one shoe and a sock on the other foot. I had that happen quite a few times. So I lost my shoe. So now I know that if I don't see it, it doesn't exist. So I'm hyper vigilant. So I say, René, the keys go here, right? And they always go there. They're always there. When our kids come home, the keys go here. Otherwise, you're pulling your hair out looking for the keys all the time. So the keys go here. On my desk, I know where everything is. Kelly was saying to me yesterday, when he works in his shop, he knows where everything is, right? And don't anyone go in there and fix it, because it won't be fixed. It will mess up his life, right? So this is important, that this is for her to understand me. Now instead of this, she's kind of opened up so that she sees what's inside my hand. She sees that I had this thing with losing things, and so now I don't want to lose anything, so I have to have it in front of me.
So instead of having a cute little box for the keys inside the cupboard, the box for the keys is on the counter, so that it's not, so that he can put them in the box, but he can see it. He can see them inside the box.
It's the key box.
Right.
And all the keys go there.
Yeah, so it's not in a cupboard, where for me it would seem a lot tidier, because now it's got its little place, right? And so everything can be clean. There's no clutter on the counters or on the tables or anything like that. So we've had to work through that. Also, why do you shower for so long?
Oh. So that's an easy one to answer. So I like to have a hot and cold contrast shower. Any of you like to do that? Okay, so it's 3 minutes hot, 1 minute cold. 3 minutes hot, 1 minute cold. 3 minutes hot, 1 minute cold. Can you add that up? That's a bit of a long shower, okay? In her mind. In my mind, that's the way you shower, right? And then I feel good for the day. Any of you do that contrast shower? This is just, let me see. There you go. I love that.
I'm with you, Larry.
Just keep getting hotter. Okay, we're gonna,
Okay, so now it's your turn. So you just returned from the grocery store, but you missed something on the list you were reminded repeatedly to buy, and your partner asks you why you forgot, and you are feeling defensive. How do you respond in a non-defensive way?
in a non-defensive way. Okay, try that out. So we're going to go through this one quickly. Would someone like to give us an example of a non-defensive response to going to the grocery store? Has this touched a nerve for anyone? Have you ever done this before? Okay. Okay, at the very back, go ahead. What's your name again? Dana. Go ahead, give us an answer there.
Wow, okay. This is me at the grocery store because I am kind of a squirrel. And I will get into the grocery store, and Cindy has a lot of eating, let's just say, abnormalities. She's got to eat things that are non-GMO, organic, and all the rest of it. So when she goes to the grocery store, it's a long time reading labels, trust me. So when I go to the grocery store, I can do it an awful lot quicker, right?
Yeah, sure.
But I always come home without something that she really needed.
Yes.
Because I'm at the grocery store and I'm going, oh, I need this. I'll go get this. It's not on the list. So I do the squirrel thing. So this is something that we do all the time. And I just kind of, oh, I'm so sorry, honey. I really am. I will really try to make sure that it's on my list next time. And I will put it on my phone and I will double check and I'll make sure I bring it home for you, honey. I'm sorry.
That's awesome. I think that's good. That deserves a round of applause. Well done, Dana. That was good. I love that.
I have a lot of practice doing it.
But the forgiveness. Anyone else? Yes, go ahead. Yes, Sash.
We shop together.
Yes.
We don't usually miss things because we always do it together. That's our date night.
Oh, good. Oh, shopping.
Good. Shopping
Okay.
is your date night?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that's awesome.
And
Wow.
sometimes we'll have Chinese food at the end.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Good for you. Okay, so this is a difficult one sometimes because we want to fix it. I mean, guys, just fix it. Okay, I'll go back and I'll get it, right? Well, what if the store is closed? Okay, well, I feel really bad about that. And so there's that constant wanting to fix things and get it right as quickly as you possibly can. So contempt.
So contempt arises from a sense of superiority over one's partner. So this is the worst horseman.
Yeah.
So you get criticism, and then you get defensiveness. So, and then after defensiveness now, then the contempt comes in. So we'll give an example of how the one causes the other.
So superiority in the sense of what? Superiority in the sense over one's partner. Either it could be fitness, it could be spirituality. I feel superior to you that way, or the food that I eat, or the way that I dress, or my cleanliness in any way, or how I handle finances. So if you feel superior, my intellect, then you're looking down on the other person. Okay? I heard one gentleman say to his partner that our family is academic and yours is not. Okay? What's that? That's contempt. She didn't take it that way, right? And he said, it's all right. My mother always, because she came from a non-educated home, and so she just sat quietly while we had educated conversation in our home. Terrible, but that's his view. This is his whole view of things. That's contempt. So whenever you feel you rise to this period of superiority, you look down on your partner.
And there's usually, this is where name calling comes in.
Yes.
So name calling, you're mean, you're disrespectful, you're rolling your eyes. So,
Okay. You wanted
so
to,
Michael,
you wanted to attack me on
I'm
something. Yes, go ahead. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay, Andy's bringing the microphone. She wants to just so we can all hear. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I recognize that the way he said that was not a nice way.
Yes, that's right.
But there are sometimes very big differences in families. And if
That's
a
right.
person makes an observation that they see as factual,
That's right.
does that necessarily mean contempt? For example,
Yeah.
I had a friend who would she would joke about how she was dating a German
Yes.
gentleman.
All right.
And his parents,
Yeah.
the breakfast is served at 7,
Yes.
and they get up at 7:35.
Yes.
And it's over,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
There's no food, everything is clean,
Yeah.
right, whatever. And she would be like panicked,
Yes.
stricken. And he says, yeah, but your family, you eat and eat and eat and eat for like hours on end, right?
Yes.
So the thing is that there's like major differences,
That's
but
right.
does that mean contempt? Let's say he said, I found that rude the way he said it.
Yes.
But let's say he sees that
Yes.
a family has had, like, I don't know, masters, doctorates, whatever. They talk in a certain way.
Yeah, that's right.
And other people, let's say, didn't finish their high school education. They talk a different way.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that they're inferior.
Right.
But that does mean that there's going to be different
Yeah.
ways of expressing yourself or whatever. So
Yes. To observe that and to notice that is one thing. To feel superior because of it is another thing, right? Yeah.
so how do you know that the person, like that guy who spoke,
Yes.
what could he have said differently
Right.
so that it's not contempt?
Okay. So
That's what I mean.
yes, go ahead.
I completely see where you're coming from. So, the fact that she didn't see it as being contemptuous and she accepted it because it was a fact, right? And the same with your friend, with the German, they're very on time. And so, but I think more contemptuous things would be when it starts coming in and it starts keeping, name calling starts coming in and they're using their words wrong, Like, for instance, you always late. You eat all day and that's why you look like you look. Look at you.
Yeah.
Things like that. So it becomes more attacking that person and more name calling. But I think if you're just stating a fact, I think that could be done in a gentle way. But once it starts going behind that and you start getting that attack and name calling and attacking their characters and you being more superior and being disrespectful, that's when that creeps in. That's not good.
So
yeah.
there must have been a reason why a German would marry a Spaniard, okay? Because a Spanish person is a very different culture than a German person. So his tact has to be really great in that situation, right? He has to be very, very tactful. That's where the gentleness comes in. Because you're going to have those real obvious differences. And when those obvious differences are there, those conversations have to be gentle, calm, and caring, and expressing constantly, this is how we did it in our home, and we did it differently than you. It doesn't make it better than you, doesn't make you less or us superior and you inferior, right? So making it gentle and always expressing the best and lifting up the other individual. Yeah. Does that help you? Yeah. So always thinking in terms of the best for the other, right? If I don't love my partner more than I love myself, shouldn't be married to her, right? I have to love her more than I love myself. She's number one, and I want her to feel appreciated, loved, and completely respected as she does me. And when you are in that situation, are we okay to finish now? Okay, because our time has run out, but that's okay. We can talk tomorrow about this a little more detail. And we just want to ask you to do one thing, to take a moment to pray with the other person who's here with you. Or if someone's not here with you, you can pray on your own or pray with someone else, and let's do that before we close, okay?